What if the United States controlled the entire world? It sounds like something out of a movie, but have you ever stopped to think about what would actually change? Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that countries no longer exist. No Brazil, no Europe, no Asia. Everything is now part of a single government. The first major change would be money. Today, each country has its own currency, real, euro, peso. But in this scenario, the dollar would become the global currency. Everything would be bought and sold using the same money. This could make things easier. Travel would be simpler. International trade would be faster. Companies would grow with fewer barriers. But there's a huge problem. If the entire world depends on a single economic system, any mistake could cause a global collapse. If the United States faces a crisis, the whole world goes down with it. Now think about culture. Today, every country has its own identity, different languages, different foods, unique traditions. But under a single global government, this would slowly start to disappear. American culture would become the standard. English would dominate, and over time, local traditions could fade away. What if the United States controlled the entire world? It sounds like something out of a movie, but have you ever stopped to think about what would actually change? Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that countries no longer exist. No Brazil, no Europe, no Asia. Everything is now part of a single government. To understand that, you first need to know something. The United States is already one of the most powerful countries in the world. It has a massive economy, one of the strongest militaries in history, and an enormous cultural influence. Movies, music, social media, even without realizing it, you already consume American content every day. Now imagine that, but with no limits, no other countries to compete, no opposition, a single government controlling everything. You might still have local food or traditional festivals, but everything would be adapted to a global model. Now let's talk about something important. War. Without rival countries, large-scale wars would almost disappear. There would be no more conflicts between nations. But that doesn't mean total peace. On the contrary, internal revolts could rise. People who refuse to be controlled by a single government. And these conflicts could be even more dangerous, because it wouldn't be country versus country. It would be people versus the system. And now we reach the most sensitive part of all. Freedom. With a single global government, laws would be the same everywhere. Everything would be standardized. But who decides those laws? Who guarantees they would be fair? When power is concentrated in one place, the risk of abuse increases dramatically. If that government became too controlling, people would have very few options, because there would be no other country to escape to. Think about that. Today, if a country has bad rules, you can try to move somewhere else. But in this scenario, there is no somewhere else. The entire world would be the same system, but not everything would be negative. A global government could bring more organization, less inequality between regions, more investment in technology. Medical advances could happen faster. Diseases could be fought more efficiently. Infrastructure could improve worldwide. Maybe the world would become more connected than ever. But all of that depends on one thing, that government working properly. Because if it fails, the impact would be massive. No competition, no strong opposition, no alternative. A single wrong decision could affect billions of people at the same time. And that is the biggest risk of all. The entire world in the hands of a single authority. Now tell me, would you rather live in a world like this, or in a planet divided into independent countries?